I tried everything for my debilitating brain fog. I rested for weeks, my supplement drawer looked like a pharmacy, and my diet was perfectly clean. But nothing even touched the constant haze in my mind. I felt like I was losing myself to brain fog, fatigue, heart palpitations, and even constant anxiety. I was about to give up until I discovered something major. It was an often overlooked piece of the puzzle that had very little to do with diet or even how much I slept. And it's that my nervous system was stuck in a state of chronic dysregulation. And for me, the approach was a total game changer, something called brain rewiring. And if any of that sounds familiar, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And you're going to want to stick around for this one, because I'm going to be giving you some tools on how you can overcome brain fog. So if you're watching this, you probably know the feeling all too well. It's so much more than just being tired. It's like living life behind a thick pane of glass, and you see the world, you hear it, but you can't quite connect with it. The words are on the tip of your tongue, but they vanish before you can grab them. You walk into a room and you completely forget why you're there. And trying to focus on a task feels like wading through thick mud. Your brain feels slow, cloudy, and just offline. And for me, it was maddening. I prided myself on being sharp and productive, but suddenly I couldn't even trust my own mind. I would miss appointments, forget important conversations, and I would struggle to keep up with tasks that used to be very simple. And the world just started to feel extremely overwhelming. I had this constant effort to just think clearly. It was exhausting. It was far more than any physical work I had ever done. And really the worst part was the isolation. People would tell me, you just need more sleep, or maybe you're just stressed. And really I was stressed because my brain wasn't working. But I knew it was something deeper. I was getting 8 or 9 hours of sleep every single night, and then I would just wake up and feel extremely foggy. No matter how much sleep that I got, I was still extremely foggy. And it felt like an invisible wall that I couldn't break through no matter how hard I tried. So if you've ever felt that frustration, that sense of something fundamentally is wrong, but you can't put your finger on it, then stick with me, because I'm going to be talking about some of the most common advice that might not be working for you. So you do what any logical person does. You start to Google your symptoms, and you go to the doctor and you start trying to fix it. And for many of us, this leads down 3 very common, really frustrating paths. So first, there's rest. Everybody tells you you're probably just burnout, so just rest. Take time off work, and you sleep in, you cancel your plans, but then the fog doesn't even lift. So just to be clear, lack of sleep is a massive cause of brain fog for a lot of people. But if your issue is chronic and you're already getting enough sleep, simply resting more isn't getting to the root of why your brain is so exhausted in the first place. So next up, we have supplements. Your cabinet starts to look like a health food store. B12, magnesium, omega-3s, adaptogens, you name it. You spend a ton of money hoping for a magic bullet. And listen, if you have a true nutritional deficiency, supplementing can be a huge help, but for many it barely makes a dent. And it could feel like putting premium fuel in a car that has its emergency brake permanently engaged. The fuel is good, but it can't override the system that's holding everything back. And finally, you try the clean eating trap. You cut out gluten, dairy, sugar, alcohol, caffeine, and you eat nothing but organic everything, and yet the brain fog still remains. And this is really frustrating. And I know, because I lived it. I know exactly what it's like. I had the food sensitivities and all of that. And I used to think that food caused the brain fog. But each one of these dead ends adds to the hopelessness. You think, maybe this is just how it's going to be now. But what if it's not? What if these things aren't working because they're not targeting the root issue? They're not targeting symptoms without addressing the underlying driver. After hitting those walls, I stumbled upon a concept that changed everything for me. It was that my nervous system was stuck in fight or flight. So our autonomic nervous system has 2 main branches. There's the sympathetic state, the fight or flight response. That's the gas pedal. Then there's the parasympathetic state, which is the rest and digest response. That's our brake. In a balanced nervous system or healthy state, you hit the gas to handle a stressful event, and then you hit the brake when it's over, letting your body relax and repair. But what happens after prolonged stress, trauma, or chronic illness is your brain's alarm system, the limbic system, can get stuck in the on position. Your body starts acting like it's under constant threat, and that's where your nervous system becomes dysregulated. So maybe for you, it's not just the brain fog, but it's also the dizziness, the shortness of breath, the tremors, heart palpitations, extreme fatigue, exhaustion, and that sleep that just doesn't fix it. And you're stuck in a high, in a high alert state. You've forgotten how to even find the break. So what's this got to do with brain fog? Well, everything, because when your brain thinks it's in mortal danger, it prioritizes, the priorities shift, and it's a shift for survival. And in this emergency state, higher level thinking like sharp focus, clear memory, or, just thinking properly it's not considered essential. So what happens is your system is too busy running from the imaginary tiger to remember your grocery list. This can also trigger neuroinflammation, which further messes with the brain function. Really, this was my aha moment. It wasn't that I was broken. It was that my body was stuck in a learned psychological pattern. And for me, no amount of broccoli or extra sleep could fix a system fundamentally wired for survival mode. And I didn't need another pill. I just needed to teach my nervous system that I was finally safe to stand down. And for me, this was my turning point. Now I'm going to go over working with your brain. This is where the concept of brain rewiring comes in. The scientific term neuroplasticity, which is the brain's amazing ability to change its own structure. So we used to think that the brain was mostly fixed after childhood, but we now know that that's not true. Just like your brain can learn a new language, it can also learn new patterns of response. So a dysregulated nervous system, in many ways, is really just a learned pattern. And the good news is what we have learned can be unlearned. And brain rewiring is the process of intentionally creating new, healthier pathways. And it involves using targeted techniques to help calm down an overactive alarm system and gently guide your nervous system out of fight or flight and back into rest and repair. So what does that actually look like? Well, it's not just positive thinking. It is an active training process. And some approaches include, you could do, somatic tracking. This is where you notice what's happening in your body without judging it. You can interrupt the reactive cycle or the physical symptom like brain fog, dizziness, heart palpitations, cause fear, which in turn causes more symptoms. And then there's visualization. This is where you can, focus on creating safety in the body, signaling to the alarm system that it can power down. And then there's gradual exposure, just slowly reintroducing small amounts of activity that your brain has learned to see them as threats, while actively keeping your nervous system in a calm state. What happens is this desensitizes the threat response over time. And then we have breath work, and this is so powerful. It really helps, it helps you get out of fight or flight, and it's really effective because it addresses the potential root of the problem, rather it's just masking symptoms. And when your nervous system learns to feel safe again, the resources that were being hoarded up for survival are finally freed up. And for many, this helps your mind become clearer, memory improves, and that feeling of being online finally returns. For me, this wasn't an overnight fix, but it is the path that led to real lasting change. And it gave me a roadmap out of the fog when I thought I was lost for good. And I finally understood that healing wasn't about fighting my body, but about working with my brain to create a new state of being. So I'd love to hear exactly what's going on in your healing journey. If you want to leave those in the comments below, I read every single one of them. And if you've been on that same frustrating hamster wheel, trying everything with no results, I want you to know that there is hope. If targeting the nervous system resonates with you and you're looking for guidance on how to apply these principles, I invite you to book a free discovery call with me. Or in the link below, I'll put a link to the program, the recovery program, where you can talk about, it goes over your exact symptoms, and, we keep the group kind of small so that we give you personalized attention. So the journey out of brain fog is complex, and there are many roads that you can take. It's not always about finding that magic supplement or that quick fix. But for many of us, chronic brain fog is a sign that the nervous system is stuck in overdrive. And by shifting your focus from chasing symptoms to retraining the brain's threat response, you're getting to the root cause. And this is the most powerful part of the puzzle. You can use the power of neuroplasticity to teach your nervous system how to feel safe again. And that's when the fog will finally lift.